going to warn me what you're going to ask me ahead of time?
Well, I'm just going to ask you right now.
Okay.
Okay, so what are some of the first things that you remember about television? Like some big pivotal shows or moments that you remember seeing it?
The first show I remember seeing was The Monkees and Underdog and Lost in Space.
Were they color or black and white?
All black and white. And the first major event that I saw, newsworthy event, was I remember is the landing on the moon.
Okay. Can you expand on like one or two of them? Like what was important about them, or like how did they influence you or have a lasting impact or anything like that?
I can't really say that they really had a lasting. Well, the landing on the moon was a lasting impact because it made me want to be an engineer, an aeronautical engineer. But then I didn't. I ended up being a computer engineer. But that's what got me interested in it. And I got electronics kit because all the electronics on the moon mission and stuff.
How old were you when you watched the landing on the moon?
I guess I saw Lost in Space and all those shows probably when I was 5. I remember watching The Monkees when we lived in Indianapolis, so that meant kindergarten. And then the TV shows we watched when I was in like 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. All I can remember is in the morning it was Bozo show that had old cartoons like Felix the Cat. I remember the villain in Felix the Cat, I think, was called the Master Cylinder. Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up and see if I remember that correctly. And then they also showed, in the afternoons, there was the Big Show, and they showed Godzilla and Gamera movies.
Were those introduced?
And also monster movie. Yeah, it was sort of like, it was called the Monster, what was it called? The Big Show. It was on Channel 5. It was on one of the...
So it was on television, but it was different monster movies.
Yes, it was like called The Big Show, and it was like one of the Nashville TV stations because we lived 60 miles from Nashville, and all of our TV came from Nashville.
How many channels were there at that time?
We had the local 13, Bowling Green.
So there was one locally.
One local, then there were one local public station, 53, I think.
Out of WKU?
Yeah, and then there was 2, 4, and 5, which were out of Nashville.
Not very many channels.
4 channels?
5 if you count both the
PBS
channels, ABC, NBC, CBS, and PBS.
And how often would you watch TV?
Oh, we'd watch. Oh, the Three Stooges were also on. I think it was in the mornings along with the cartoons and.
Every Saturday morning.
Every morning. No, this was every day during school days. I mean, it was like this was like stuff that was on at 6.
Well, for school.
For school, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about the Three Stooges?
My grandmother didn't like them. She would turn them off because they would always constantly be trying to poke each other's eyes out. And
why do you think that your grandma didn't like them?
Because they would do things like this. He would try to poke him in the eyes, and the other guys would go like that. And so we would also try to do those kind of things too.
He had a little brother, so she had 2 grandsons. She didn't want y'all getting any ideas.
Three Stooges gave us a lot of ideas
about hurting each other.
So you'd say television did influence you as a kid, and what you did.
Well, also, Evel Knievel was also big, and that made us jump ramps, and there was many injuries from jumping ramps.
Like Evel Knievel.
Evel Knievel used to jump. Did he jump people? We jumped people in 1st and 2nd grade. Okay. People would lay down under the ramp, and the bikes would jump over them.
Oh my gosh.
This was in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, and we got that from Evel Knievel.
Okay. What about, so with the Three Stooges, they did have a lasting impact to you in a way.
I named cats after them.
Yeah.
But we also named our cats after Felix the cat.
So you had a cat named...
We had a cat named Felix when I was growing up, and...
Mo and Curly. That
later
lived
on
to be like 25, 22.
No.
They're old.
Well, you remember them. They were like 15 or 16, something like that.
Yeah. So, can you talk a little bit more about the Monkees? Would you say that's one of your favorite
much
shows?
about them. I just remember watching it and then getting a 45 record of the Monkees.
Did you sing their songs?
Yeah, I can remember "Hey Hey, We're the Monkees," the theme
Well,
song.
see, you had us watch them as a kid too.
We bought the whole
and
box
Lost in
set.
Space.
Yeah.
Lost in Space was my favorite.
And all of the Godzilla movies.
Yeah. Yeah. So I watched the same. Well, they weren't in color back then, so I think they were more black and white. I don't know. They might have had some in color. I remember Gamera too. So it was Japanese monster movies they would show.
How old were you when you watched those?
Probably first, second, third grade because we lived over on Spruce Trail, and also they would show 1950s science fiction movies like
After
Day the
school?
Earth Stood Still. Yeah, it was the big show. So it'd be either Godzilla,
Oh.
1950s
I
sci-fi.
never saw that The Big Show. I don't
That was
remember.
like when you got home, got off the bus, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
Well, but then you started having afternoon swim practice.
Well, we didn't do that in elementary school.
Right.
So do you think that The Big Show is what you maybe liked most? Those movies?
And then sometime in that period, there was also Star Trek. The original Star Trek would be on in the afternoon sometimes.
And you liked that too?
Yeah, and then the best cartoons on Saturday were the ones that were on really early. I don't know why, but the old Bugs
Yeah.
Bunny, which I think are not even politically correct enough to show now. They don't. Some of them have apparently been banned.
Foghorn Leghorn.
I'm not sure, but I've just read some articles where they're not all of them are shown anymore, but
Probably.
they were on at 7 in the morning, so you really had to get up to see.
Would you wake up at 7 to
We
watch
did.
it?
to watch the Bugs
I remember
Bunny?
that. It was like Christmas morning.
Yeah,
where
every
you'd be
Saturday,
like,
get up and watch the
Yeah.
stuff. Watch it. And Bugs Bunny was the best for sure. There was Scooby Doo, which you all used to watch Scooby Doo sometimes.
Yeah.
Those were the same exact episodes.
I missed
Then
the
there was,
memo that there
then
were
there was
cartoons before
Johnny
school.
Quest
That was
with his
before me.
sidekick Haji.
I think that was maybe remade.
What?
And then I remember, well, this was when I was getting to be in third, fourth grade. The Vietnam War, that was on TV a lot.
How did that influence you?
Didn't. I just remember,
It didn't scare you?
no. And then when they released the POWs, I remember because there was somebody local was a POW.
From Bowling Green?
Flinger, maybe, or
Oh,
somebody.
yeah.
Somebody was.
Anita's dad.
Would that just be on kind of the news at all times? In
When they
34th grade?
released them, I remember it was like I spent the night over at a friend's house, and we got up and it was on in the morning, like on a Saturday morning, and we watched them free the, I think we watched the local person get off the plane. It wasn't like on TV. It wasn't in Bowling Green where they were filming it. It was like nationwide. It's like.
How did your parents feel about television and how often, I guess, everybody watched TV, especially since it was kind of just in
I
a
don't
way,
remember
you
us
know?
all watching very many shows all at the same time, because I would watch TV before school with the Three Stooges and old cartoons, and then watch the Big Show after school. I don't remember watching any sitcoms or anything until the 1970s with Sanford and Son.
Like after dinner, you'd watch it
Yeah,
with the family.
yeah. MASH.
So in the beginnings, it would kind of just be you watching the TV?
And my brother.
Your brother. Your parents didn't really watch TV?
I don't remember them watching that much TV. No. We didn't watch that much TV. I mean, we'd watch not as much as people do today, or not as much time as people's being glued to the. We were outside most of the time, so it was like. I don't even think we watched The Big Show every day, but it would depend what was
Like
on.
on a rainy day.
I don't know. So we'd watch a little bit of TV.
So the
before
Big
we
Show was on like every day.
I think it was every
different movies?
weekday. Yeah, there was like some kind of a movie every day. Right, it seemed like it was right after we got off the school bus, which might have been around 3 o'clock.
Cool.
But we didn't watch. I mean, watched the cartoons in the morning, but didn't watch. I don't know. I don't remember watching any kind of sitcoms until the middle 70s.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's it.
Good job. You know what?